Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series America Premier League Group G. It's time for the final match to determine who goes on to the round of 16 and who goes home. It's a Terran versus Zerg.
MajOr came so close multiple seasons in a row. He always won his first series and then he lost eventually the deciders. But then he always played against the same guy that he played the first time. It was Ryong once and then Tasia did it to him twice. So today it's different and maybe the final result will be different as well for Ro32. But it's not going to be easy. I think Courage is a very strong Zerg with excellent mechanics, just clean playstyle in general. So MajOr's gonna have to give it all he's got, Nate, because Courage is good.
Yeah. Everything but the kitchen sink at this point, guys. We're loaded in to Overgrowth for the first map of this best of 3. And as you can see, our Mexican hope in the southwest corner of the map. The red Terran player, he is MajOr. And after a grueling series of Polt, he's up against our Chinese Zerg player representing Zenith of Origins. It is Courage.
It's been a while since I casted some of Courage's games, especially in this matchup. Of course, I've seen him in the other ones, and I feel that I've seen him in ZVZ a couple of times as well. But I think above all, Nate, we can expect solid, straight-up play. We saw him early today against Polt, and that didn't really go his way. This is interesting. Perhaps he's paranoid about an 11-11. He's like, these 4 in Terran. Where is his drone going? Yeah, I guess he's just checking for 11-11. He's like, these 4 in Terrans. I don't trust them.
Shout out to the Twitterverse. I think someone's complimented our attire today. Trying to look nice, you guys, but make a very good point. MajOr, if there's anybody that's a 2-raxer in the foreign Terran scene, MajOr he's a 2-raxer. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke out Cheddar one of these
I've
games.
seen bigger 2-raxers, Nate.
Illusion.
Yes.
Well, the 6-raxer. Kappa.
I think there are a few more others out there. MajOr, of course, capable of playing both styles of Terran as well, playing Bio, playing Mech in this matchup. But I think it's going to be Bio today. I'd be surprised if he busts out a Mech build in this match, but we'll see. Either way, I'm really excited. I'm curious to see if he's going to make it, Nate, and it will be exciting either way. So far, we have 13 Korean... No, is it 12 Korean players qualified and 1 Chinese? So after this is going to be 2 Chinese, or 12 Koreans, a Chinese, and a Mexican, and that's a mix.
Hey, that's what WCS America is all about. That's what our melting pot is for. Reaper coming out for MajOr. Spawning pool is going to complete for Courage, and he's going to get a gas as well. So we'll see him move into some form of Zergling speed at one point or another.
Yep, double Reaper opening for MajOr. Might be a triple Reaper opening as well. You know, we like we said a couple of times. Hey, did he switch this up? He went pool before hatch. That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like that was still a hatch first. Not.
The timings are different, Nate. He's getting speed ridiculously quick over here.
Maybe he got his spawning pool really early after he didn't, like he got his hatchery and then he didn't get any more drones. I could be wrong.
No, he got it all very quick. He's gonna fire up speed relatively quick. Actually, I mean, it's still gonna pass. It's gonna finish up past the 6-minute mark, so it's not that crazy actually. Well, you have 6 Zerglings defending against a single Reaper, keeping everything on the high ground, making his life a little easier. And soon that Queen will be here as well to save the day. Yeah, I think you're right in the long run. I was just suddenly caught off guard. Slightly distracted. Forgive me, Nate.
So good. MajOr's going 3 Reapers this game. He wants to apply the pressure directly to the Zerg. And, well, that Zergling speed isn't going to be done for a little while. But, you know, like you say, when you open up with Zergling speed, squeezing out a lot of Queens is not that easy. So it gives the Reapers a bit more time to do some damage or try to do damage. But then again, you always have to keep your eyes open for those Zerglings.
That Reaper has never seen that extractor, by the way. I'm a little bit worried for MajOr. You know, if he's going to play on the autopilot mode, then he might just think that Courage is playing gasless like he did earlier today against Polt. That is definitely not the case. His speed is going to finish up in roughly 25 seconds from now on. This Queen, however, is taking so much damage, and that Queen is going to fall.
Really nice control from MajOr so far. You know, the one nice thing is, even though he's going back home right now, if he was still up there and he saw more Zerglings come out, he would already start to get like a what's going on here vibe. because obviously, you know, he wouldn't be building those Lings unless he was getting speed. And armory on the way for Major. We're going to see the Hellions, the Hellbats.
Yeah, I'm getting already dead 5 from Major now, Nate.
Yeah.
So far it's just a single factory though. I'm curious to see if we're going to see some more or not. Obviously Hellbats were very successful earlier today, 4-pulled against Courage, because Courage skipped the Roach Warren, went double Evolution Chamber and upgraded Zerglings, but I would almost say it doesn't matter what kind of upgrades your Zerglings have when you're having to deal with Marauders, Hellbats, Hellions, and
this
a
could
medevac.
be so nice. The wall, is it completely set?
Yeah.
Well, he could raise it. Major needs to lift the depot. Oh, okay, he gets it up.
Wow, that helps so much, because
Yeah.
if the Zerglings would have ran in and see the armory, then the Roach Warren is going to go down immediately.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is be scouted like that, because his push definitely relies on keeping his tactics hidden.
There are a lot of Zerglings on the map now, 20. That's actually enough to engage these units that are out on the map. But Major's doing a really good job with those 2 additional Hellions in the middle, picking up a couple of those Zerglings. So now Courage is going to have to think twice about trying to surround these units.
Yeah, and the thing is, Major's reaching a very, very close to critical mass of Hellions, and you know, maybe not.
He's
Maybe
going to Baiting Bust again, Nate.
I guess as a reaction, it's not how it might be. I'm not sure. It depends on how well this push does. Like, if he can keep all these alive.
He might be able to surround these units. He's setting up the big surround, but here are the Hellbats. Zerglings are not very good against Hellbats. He might be able to pick off 2 Hellbats, but in the end, he lost so many Zerglings there. That is a fantastic start for Major.
Yep, these Zerglings are going to try to come up and get another couple hits. He would love to keep the 3rd base alive, but alas, it was not meant to be. He gets the surround on the Reaper, so there's something.
You know, someone has to tell Courage that there is this thing called the Roach Warren, and it's very good against Hellbats.
Well, he's building more Zerglings, man. He's going all out. He's made a heavy investment of his stocks into Zerglings, and he's not taking them out anytime soon.
It's the Tootming coin.
Yeah. He's been mining that Tootming coin all day, baby.
2 of these Hellions will fall in the middle of the map. That's actually going to be very nice for Courage, because of course those Hellions could have been healed up as soon as they turn into Hellbats. Do we have a starport? Not yet. It is a double eBay follow-up for Major with also a command center. No, actually no third command center yet. Of course there is. It's part of the wall. Never mind, I'm blind. So I don't think that this is going to work for Courage. Major is going to scout. Major is going to see it. Already has 2 additional bunkers going up. Well, he does only have 11 Marines now, so it's still tricky. I would love to see Major raise that supply depot wall. Why is he not doing that, Nate?
I don't know. I think it's a bit tricky. He's trying to get a little too much done with the Hellions, I fear, but the Banelings have not connected on all the Marines yet. These Zerglings are not quite enough to break this. So there he breaks the ramp open. Yeah, but Zerglings are going to continue to move across the map, but he does have at least a bunker.
Which is very good against just Zerglings.
I just want to see him get this wall back up, and he should be okay.
Man, that supply depot. That was so close to his hand.
More
Oh,
Banelings.
he used cooldown on supply depot on top of the ramp, but then now the supply depot is burning down. Oh, poor Major. Just that depot that you guys just saw explode. 3 seconds before that, he used cooldown on supply depot. So that's actually that's a very big supply depot block.
That feel.
Yeah. Bronze League heroes. Just kidding, Major. Either way, there's still a lot of Banelings outside of his natural, but Major is still in a good position. All he needs to do is just stabilize. He has 3 bunkers. Well, he doesn't have that many Marines still, though. But he does have medevacs. And I believe Stim is ready, but, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot of units to Stim. This is probably Courage's best moment to go for it, Nate.
Yeah.
He's down 70. He's getting more and more Banelings, but I feel the longer he waits, the more Marines will see daylight for Major.
Yep, and with the way that this base is laid out, I don't think the Banelings should be able to hit multiple bunkers at once, maybe.
But Major is again, I don't think Major is aware of it this time. I think he's thinking that Courage is going full macro mode. And yes, we see him lifting up that orbital command as well. That was part of the wall. This could go, okay, he's at least, no, he's salvaging a bunker.
Major, oh, your Marines aren't even healed from the last time. Here come the rest of the Banelings, lifts the wall up, but that's a lot of Banelings, Rotterdam.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of Banelings, with also 40 additional links to follow it up. Way more than we had before. Major is going to need the best splits in history, and even then, this is going to be really tough. He only has 4 Marines remaining. Major did not oh, look at that Middermine. That one Middermine is going to kill all of the Banelings. Just a single Baneling remaining, but there are so many Zerglings. Major just did not expect this anymore. He thought the aggression was over.
I would have liked I would maybe send the medevac out front, but you know, We can hypothesize about this all day long. I don't see too many opportunities left for Major. These Zerglings.
He was so ahead.
There's one thing these Chinese Zergs have, and they do not miss a beat with their production. Zerglings are going to come down this map for the rest of the game.
Okay, he has Widow Mines. He is still producing a lot of Marines. Finally, he's working on 3 reactors. He, of course, has triple orbital. It's going to be very hard to stabilize, but you know, so far he's not down. Economically, he's actually theoretically still ahead. Widow Mine is gonna get a good shot. Oh no! Friendly fire. Why Widow Mine?
Why? That Marauder actually soaked up a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I don't. This is. I guess he doesn't really have that many drones behind this. You're right.
Sick pickups again for Major. Major is still in this one. He's producing a lot of Marines now. Banelings are looking for juicy connections on the SCVs. One where Baneling gets a reasonable
There's so
connection.
much blood in this base.
Yes, but Major is still alive, and with being alive, theoretically he's going to be ahead. Because like we said, Courage just has no drones, no economy behind this, no upgrades. Wow, what a remarkable, I mean, hold in the long run this was.
I am serious. I was ready to call this one over, Roddy. This is Major has. Yes, he's dying hard. Let's just say that. That 1-1 upgrade setup that he has also really
Bruce
benefiting.
Willis.
Yeah.
Major, aka Bruce Willis.
Yippee-ki-yay, Zoo Courage. Yippee-ki-yay.
Wow, I mean there are a lot of overlords as well. This island in the middle of the map would be very juicy for Major to pick up all those overlords if he finds them. I think that Courage probably thought that this one is over as well. Slow Banelings in the middle of the map are going to have a very hard time connecting against stimmed Marines. Major has stabilized. I mean, like, it should have been an easy hold, but because it absolutely hit him on the worst possible moment, it became a lot closer than expected, but still fantastic in the long run. And here we can see these slow Banelings sort of trying to connect with Marines, actually getting a good connection on the left side, but from this point on, Major is going to have a good time with his triple orbital.
Even down on numbers, he still has the advantage with those upgrades, and when it comes to Marines versus Zerglings, an upgrade advantage is, you know, it's crazy how much it helps. Oh man, this game.
That was tricky.
Major's a little supply block. Okay, there's the depots. Probably a call down if he can get one in there. +2 is starting though for him. I'd love to see if he could squeeze out armor. He's got a little bit of gas, but maybe he wants medevacs instead.
And Widow Mines.
And Widow
Courage
Mines
is still morphing a lot of Banelings in the middle of the map, which I don't really understand.
You know, the thing is, Widow Mines are like a natural counter to no air, because if you try to kill the mines, you're always going to end up being hit by at least a few of them. And well, catching these Marines would be nice, but nothing there. Is these Widow Mines going to make the plays? Nothing actually that good yet.
Widow Mines, Mr. Unreliable over here.
Oh, he targets the Banelings with the mine.
Yeah, the last one was really good. There are still a few Banelings working on the reactor now. This aggression just does not stop. A lot of SCVs actually falling in the natural.
Oh, the drones, Courage. This is where things get rough. He's been rallying across the map all game, and now
there's a drop in the main base. That's doing a lot of damage.
Major going to town, cancels the lair. I mean, this army's just going to get better and better for Major as time goes on. More medevacs. He's got all these units that give him extra utility. Banelings, man, they're one-time use. These things have an expiration date.
Yeah, especially when they're slow.
Yeah. Look at this, picking up individual Marines. Major don't care. He's sending him another medevac to the left side. Oh, this game. Really, I'm so impressed with how well Major's been able to hold on. I would have lost this game like 5 times already.
I mean, it's still ironic because he was in such a fantastic position after defending the first time. He was up 17 workers, he was up a base theoretically, and they should have never been as close as it was. But that attack couldn't have gone on a worse, couldn't have came on. Oh, 6 shot there as well.
Terran dreams, baby. All the Banelings are gone. These Zerglings are running wild, and there's still Marines going ham in the third base, in the main base, and pretty soon in Courage's face. This push should not be stoppable. Any number of Zerglings with an upgrade disadvantage are going to have such a hard time. There's Carapace now, but +2 attack is done, so Major's still going to kill these Zerglings faster than the Zerglings can kill the Marines for sure. And, oh, here he is. Knock.
This should be a game-winning push for Major with a few Marauders, a few Marines, and plenty of medevacs to support his army. Major is going to split preemptively, but there's only a single Baneling on the map. That one Baneling is destined for greatness. Look.
Oh, the Widow Mines?
There are 2 now.
Oh, wow. That was impressive. He detonated all 3 on 3. Not bad.
Courage, actually, I'm surprised that he's able to hang in there despite being down like 26 army supply.
I've only ever seen something this crazy work. Like, I think it was Life versus Innovation, like DreamHack Winter. He was down like a whole 2 sets of upgrades and just used a crazy number of units and caught him overextended. But I'm not sure if Major's going to put himself in that position. This third base could be exposed, though.
Courage is doing this of 22 drones. That is nothing. This is less than a one-base economy.
He's earned a trophy no matter what, that's for sure. He's definitely trying hard.
MajOr is going to try to get his Widow Mines.
One burrows. Gets a few. Another 2 gonna burrows. He's gonna target those banelings. Yes, he does. Man, these Widow Mines been making dream connections this game. And even if he kills these Marines, there's still the bunker with SCVs to repair. There's still Marines, Marauders, Medevacs all over the place. And MajOr, he's got more than enough to take out this next force, but...
Yep, and he's still active with units on the other side of the map as well, so you can do some more economic damage. GG is called. Juanito only one map win away right now from making it to WCS America round of 16 Premier League for the first time in his career, and it would also be the first real North American resident. Of course, you know, Paul and Violet also currently living here, but they moved here a couple of years ago. MajOr has been here his entire life. It would be something, Nate. It would be really cool for MajOr if he makes it for the first time.
I would love to see MajOr make it this far. I mean, the defense, it's hard to put into words what exactly he did to make that work, but his upgrades being finished early on, I hadn't really noticed it until after the fight was over, but, you know, when you have those upgrade advantage for the Marines, it takes one more hit to get killed, takes one less shot to kill those lings, and just those small things can make a huge difference when you're fighting with inferior numbers, especially with that many banelings. MajOr lost so many Marines, so many supply depots at the start of that game. The fact that he was able to remain composed and take that game back was really impressive.
Yeah, the hold was sick. A couple of times the Marines were all trapped and he picked them up and he dropped them somewhere else again, and just every second that went by, a few more Marines spawned at the same time, especially during that second attack, which obviously was doing more damage than it could have. If MajOr would have seen it coming, then he would have just defended it without too many problems. Well, he thought he was out of the woods. He thought it was clear. He's like, we're going to macro, and from this point on I should be ahead. Well, he was ahead because he was up solid 20 workers as a Terran player, but a lot of banelings did catch him by surprise, but he did a really good job in hanging in there, spreading his Marines out all over the place. It was really funny as well because a lot of SCVs soaked up a baneling, but it never really happened that 2 banelings blew up the same group of SCVs. Because after it was all said and done and the dust was settled, there were around 15 to 20 SCVs that were all like on red HP because they...
Yeah, they were like one shot away from dying.
It was cool. It was a great hold by MajOr. It was a little more difficult than it should have been, but it was awesome regardless.
Yeah, let's go with that. So we got one more game, potentially for MajOr. 2 games for Courage he needs to win if he wants to move on to the round of 16 himself. And, you know, Courage is kind of, we saw this against Pol as well. If his attack doesn't kill you, you know, it's one of the first things that you learn when you start playing against good players is when they commit to something, they really commit. And Courage, I think, you know, he commits in a crazy amount to these aggressive attacks. Like, he was still holding pushes off with 70 supply versus over 100 of Terran.
Yeah, that game was one of the most deceiving games when I looked at the actual engagements and battles that I've ever seen. Because
sometimes you can read games based off supply. That time, no.
Yeah, because this was just like, why is he not dying? He has like 30 army supply of unupgraded Zerglings against 76 supply of a Terran player. But MajOr, of course, you know, left a few units behind, had a few Widow Mines, had a lot of Medevacs. It started dropping a bit. MajOr was ahead in every aspect, but it didn't really feel like that for a couple of times because Courage was using every single bit of army supply that he had at one location, and MajOr was spreading himself thin, but he was still very far ahead, and he was playing it out very calm and very patiently. We are waiting for game invites of our second game, and I believe that it is going to be played on, I will know in a few seconds, what is going to be our second map. King Seong Station. Okay, I'm surprised. First time we see it today, I believe.
Yeah, actually. Okay, that's good. I'll take it. I'll take it. I like King Seong Station. This we've seen some really cool games in Terran versus Zerg on this map, particularly I think back to, I can't remember if it was even a WCS, but I've seen some really great games. You know, I've seen Bunny do against Newton, like Fragbite Masters, like sick tank pushes in the mid game combined with Bio and Mech. And we did see a Terran player do that at some point. Illusion, right? In Illusion's match yesterday, was it? He was able to get some cool tank positioning on this map.
Yeah, on the low ground because the Zerg expanded on the high ground in the middle, you mean?
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, especially in TVT, we see a lot of cool stuff in this matchup as well.
Yeah.
And in PvT, we see a lot of proxy Stargates because it's a really good map to proxy your Stargates.
Yeah, proxy Stargates.
Everybody's favorite strategy. We are almost ready for game number 2. I'm not sure what we are waiting for.
All right.
But we're going to figure this out. Seems like all of our players are ready. And I'm ready. A Okay,
Oh,
one
they had
one of the commentators was selected as a player, so that's what's going on. I was like, why is everybody freaking out in this game lobby? Either way, Nate, just one map win away is what separates MajOr from the round of 16, or perhaps a game 3 against Courage. I'm a little bit surprised that Courage did the exact same thing as he did against Bolt, against MajOr, and on the same map as well.
Yeah.
It's like not really what I expected.
Sometimes, you know, you just got players that you say, hey, my build might be something I do a lot. It might be something that's easy to scout, easy to predict if you watch a lot of my games, but you have to assume MajOr, how many games of Courage has he probably seen? Maybe he doesn't know that Courage does the same builds a lot on same maps. So it's one of those situations where, as Courage, you just want to stick to your gut, stick to the builds that you know best, the ones that have the most success for you. And unfortunately, that game, it wasn't enough. But let's see if he has something special prepared for King Sejong Station, or if we're going to have another similar, heavy, aggressive 3-base setup without really any drones at the third.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, I do not feel that Courage has the ability to play a single real macro game today. Even if we go back to the games that he played against Maxet, the Hydro Ling was more like a timing, was a reaction to whatever Maxet threw at him. Then you had that base trade game on Frost, which I feel that he made too many units in a certain phase in the game, that he never really had the economy. Both games against Polt were not real macro games. First game is a filled bailing attack. Second game he dies to Hellbats and Marauders. It's surprising and not really what I expected today, but he's still in it and he can still definitely make it to the round of 16 as well. As you guys can see, the game is up and running behind us. So Nate, this could be our final game of the day, which would mean that we would have our first North American qualifying for WCS America round of 16 Premier League Season 2.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped, Roddy. Our first player in the top left position, the blue Zerg, the Chinese player representing Zenith of Origins. It is Courage. He's got to win 2 games if he wants to get to the round of 16, or, well, he's going to be eliminated from this season of WCS. His opponent in the bottom right position, just 1 map win away. It is MajOr.
They often say it's all about being persistent, Nate. Well, MajOr has been persistent in his pursuit to make it to the round of 16. Came close so many times, and you would say that this has been, you know, this looks really good. In the past, he often won his first round against fantastic Terrans, and then he had to go up against a Ryong again, or a Tasia again, or a Tasia again. This time he's up 1-0 against a player that he hasn't played against yet before. And he looked really solid in game 1. And Courage has looked a little shaky today.
Yeah, I feel like it's like we don't see a lot of what Courage does, but it's pretty cool to see somebody trying to switch things up again. Of course, shout out to Ian the TDs Twigs, super good group once again today in WCS. It's crazy in the level of skill that everyone just consistently brings to the game. I agree. We had some really great games so far in today's group.
I think that Courage's best game was definitely game 3 against Maxhead, where he was just macroing like a beast and having 18-20 roaches on your production tab in that phase in the game where you're being all in. Then you know that you've been you know, on the money with your injects. That was definitely the best game. So he's shown us that he can play fantastic when he's on the ropes, because his tournament life was on the line as well before on Overgrove and on Merry-Go-Round. So let's not count him out just yet. We do see the hatch first this time go down, making sure that it is hatch first, followed up by the spawning pool. So of course everything is very standard, and once again a relatively quick extractor as he throws it down before the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, having access to that early Zergling speed is not only good for defense, but as we've seen from Courage, it can be used to set yourself up for some really
But how
really
many times can you bailing boss in one day against Terran players? There has to be a limit to that amount.
Well, you know, it's funny that you should ask that, because as your Baneling bust games get shorter and you can do more Baneling busts, Roddy. So I don't know if there's a good way to answer that question.
We'll see. Well, maybe the answer to the question is just one more time if it works this time. However, he's not dead just yet. We'll see. First Reaper is making his way across the map, and of course the command center is going down for MajOr as well. In the last game he opened up with 3 Reapers and the Hellions, and he was very successful with those units as he transformed them into Hellbats at the right moment and killed so many Zerglings. You know, Courage, the one day today where you relied on roaches, you were extremely successful with them. In this matchup, he could be very successful with them as well, because those Hellbats are causing some real problems so far.
Yeah, it's I'm wondering if MajOr's going to be busting that out again. He's got his factory on the way. Of course, this is standard, but you know, that armory, it's getting used a bit more. We got the Reaper still poking around in that natural. And how many Reapers is he going to go up to total? 3 so far. Cool.
Yeah, the 3-peat Reaper.
I can dig it.
He's feeling it. And what standard so far for MajOr. Good news for Courage is that this game he did not lose a drone, did not lose 2 drones, and also did not lose those queens. Of course, it could still theoretically happen, but I feel this time he's going to be much more prepared for that. He's using 2 queens, even dropping the creep tumor a little bit behind those queens. I like that. So this time it won't get picked off, and he's going to have slightly better creep spread.
Yeah, that's a smart adjustment.
And MajOr has not even... okay, he did see the extractor, so he knows that there is a potential speed on the way.
Yeah, speed is actually going to be done pretty soon, but... You know, he only has 4 lings on the map. He hasn't produced any more, even as close as speed is getting, so maybe he's not going to use it unless he sees aggression coming. But there's that armory again, Roddy.
I don't mind seeing it at all by MajOr, because so far Courage has been relatively stubborn in this matchup about not dropping a Roach Warren. I have a very, very hard time imagining that once again we are going to see Hellbats kill 30, 40, 50 links, like we have seen earlier today in Polt's game against Courage and also in game 1 between MajOr and Courage, but we will see.
Yeah. 3rd hatchery on the way.
If he doesn't drop a Roach Warren again, then he's officially more stubborn than Johan Merlo. And Johan is very stubborn.
Does he build zealots into swarm hosts or something?
No, just in real life.
Oh.
In the game, Johan is quite smart.
Touché.
In real life, we all know him as D-Back Todd.
Armory's finishing up. Stim is on the way, and a couple Zerglings want to go for a little bit of a backstab, but that wall not being done yet means he'll at least see some Hellions. I don't think he should be able to get in and see that armory, though. He's poking the 3rd base again.
Nope. These queens working on one of these repairs. Good micro so far by MajOr, not making any mistakes. Of course, that's what we expect from him. A lot of Zerglings on the production tab again for Courage, Nate. And still no Roach Warren. He's throwing down double evolution chamber. Even though the Hellion count is not as high as it was earlier today, only 6 Hellions. But if those 6 Hellions morph into Hellbats, it doesn't really matter how many Zerglings you have.
Yeah, that's the scary part, man. These Hellbats, especially if they can if they can back themselves up against any kind of wall, really puts you in a good position. So he's moving up towards the north side of that 3rd base. There's some Zerglings here. Free lunch for MajOr, and another wave comes in, but you're only fighting half the lings at a time. It's a pretty sweet battle.
Like right now, it's all going to come down to these queens. One of the queens does transfuse the other queen, and we're going to see these Hellbats march forward now. Hellbats have quite a bit of DPS. So far, these queens are being microed very well, but one queen is going to go down. No double transfuse landing. Here come the Zerglings. But these Zerglings are, again, just going to die. He has a lot more Zerglings coming in. Queens are out of transfuse now.
Hellbats! More than meets the eye.
Oh, okay. These Zerglings are going to try to swing around, but Zerglings just... they're not very effective against Hellbats.
He is Zerglings. It's not very effective.
So many Zerglings have gone down already. Eventually, Courage will clean this up. He lost 2 queens, he lost a ridiculous amount of links. His economy has obviously been slowed down very much. But he didn't lose a whole lot of drones. He didn't lose his 3rd base. So I guess we're going to look at the bright side of life.
Yep. MajOr's getting his production rolling along, though. He already has 2 reactors complete, so the Marine production should explode. Starport being a little bit on the late side, though, means forward pressure will be a bit more difficult to accomplish.
How sad do you think that MajOr is that he didn't make 4 more Hellbats? Because he would have had the time of his life. He's like, man, if only I would have known that this guy just refuses to make a Roach Warren.
You know, it reminds me of, what was it, the innovation, like, math problem. It's like, solution to anything, Hellbats. Hellbats.
Yeah, I
in the
remember
old days.
That was funny. You know, there is an extractor. Okay, now never mind. He saturated the extractor in his main base. For a while he didn't. He took it and he never saturated it. Either way, MajOr's going up to 3 bases while Courage is dropping his Bania. He's going to try to get a surround, but I wouldn't try to surround these Tin Marines. He is up 7 workers, so it's not all bad news for Courage and all the Courage fans out there. He's producing a lot of Zerglings. We know that his macro is good, his injects are good. Upgrade-wise, he's going to be relatively even.
Yeah, Lair's done. I'm really wondering what we're going to see out of this Lair from Courage. We have not seen Mutalisk play against Terran just yet. It's been this heavy aggression. And actually, the way he's setting himself up, is he just going to try to do like... Is he going to try to attack with 1-1 and Banelings? Yeah, without Baneling's speed, I don't think it's possible to really kill a Terran off creep like this with Stim.
I think it's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult unless he gets some really lucky connections and dream connections. MajOr's going to Stim forward. He's going to be like, oh, a lot of Banelings are morphing inside of my base. Cool, that means that I can start picking them off, right? He will pick off a couple of them before they hatch, but in the end a few Banelings will hatch. But then MajOr's like, oh, they were slow Banelings. That means that I can still be here.
Yeah.
And they are going to be slow Banelings for the next 85 seconds.
2-2 on the way for MajOr, getting concussive shells as well. Hey, if you can slow down one Baneling, might as well take that pick up.
Small Zergling counter now over here at this base.
I mean, it looks like Courage with this, even with this like little pressure, it's nice, but he's putting himself into an all-in position. He doesn't have any follow-up tech. All the Banelings get picked off. He's rallying Zerglings down the map. I guess, you know, rev it up, Kevin, because we're getting back into the same little crazy situation we were in last game, except MajOr this time. He has not been crippled and lost a ton of SCBs at the start of the game.
Then again, Courage also actually has a real economy and he has a macro hatchery. Baneling speed is about to finish up, but he's like, why is Courage walking around with so many Banelings, so many slow Banelings in the middle of the map? He's going to try to get juicy connections and actually gets reasonable connections over here, but there are still so many Marines alive. MajOr picks up a couple of these Marines as well, and it's just nothing but Zerglings and Banelings for Courage with 1-1 upgrade. He can't keep this up.
Yeah,
that was not even a very cost-effective trade.
Yeah, like I said, as he continues to add in anything like Widow Mines from the last game, they become more difficult to remove. They have a higher chance of picking off those large packs of Banelings because he doesn't have to worry about Mutalisks. Like, the thing is, like, Mutalisks kill Widow Mines before they detonate, but even if a Zergling or a Baneling kills it, the mine's gonna detonate, and if the Terran player has time to target something with it, that gets even harder. And there's a drop coming into the third base this time. Unlike the last game, Courage is gonna be ready for it, so no big damage there. These Zerglings walk into a meat grinder.
He's morphing 25 Banelings as well. Actually behind the Terran army, that's pretty sick. They're gonna try to be rolling in from behind, but MajOr can of course pick up the majority of these units if he pays attention, and he does pay it. Well,
the Widow Mine. I was looking at that Widow Mine, man. He had it selected. If he had hit those Banelings, I might have just lost it right there. Coming into the natural expansion with this drop, just hops straight over, and MajOr. I mean, this is just one of those things where you look at it and you're like, why do people build Mutalisks? These medevacs, you're never going to catch them.
This is what happens when non-Zerg players play ZVT. You just can't.
This is me. I'm like, I can't catch anything.
2-2 is about to finish off for MajOr. It's going to be well ahead of his opponent, Courage. MajOr has defeated Max, the excellent Chinese Protoss, early today. Now he's up 1-0 against Courage. If he wins this series, he's going to be the first North American to qualify for the round of 16, and things are looking very, very good, Nate. Unless, you know, Banelings are getting absolute dream connections, things that Zerg dreams are made of. Things that make the Zerg heartbeat double time. I don't think MajOr should lose this game from this point.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. He's in a very good spot for sure. He's got a very powerful army. I mean, he had an upgrade advantage. It's about to be equalized as +2 attack finishes, but even Carapace is not quite done yet.
More Overlords gonna fall as well in the middle of the map. Courage is supply blocked, so he fired up 10 Overlords. Why not? He can theoretically make so many Zerglings and Banelings, but he just doesn't have them now. He does. Okay, he has 90. He has 60 Banelings. He has 35 Banelings on the way over here on the right side. MajOr.
And as everything rushes in, he just wants those mines to detonate. Leave the Marauders up front, splitting. There's still a bit of creep here, so
6 splits by MajOr, but there's still so many more Banelings coming in. Are there a few more Widow Mines in the mix? But
he's baiting him to the mine. Go, great detonation on him, but. Oh man,
you know, like even though it looks like Courage did relatively well there, but the reality is that MajOr is still up in economy. They're on even amount of bases. MajOr has more units at helm. MajOr has more.
And MajOr has 14.
Has better upgrades.
MajOr has 14 medevacs too.
Yep, he's not losing any of his medevacs.
Because there's no Mutalisks.
Everything is in favor of MajOr. He's up 70 supply. And once again, it's a little deceiving because all you see is Zerglings and Banelings, and it looks like the Zerg has a whole army, but this is literally everything that Courage has. These Banelings, I'm not even sure if those Banelings are ever going to see daylight. MajOr is going to see them real soon, and he might actually just move forward and try to pick off a couple of them.
A few Banelings try to come in from that right side, not quite enough, and MajOr splitting again and again and again. And now these Banelings are going to roll up off creep. He could get a few good detonations here. There's no Widow Mines. He only won burrows, but
sweeping leaves on the windy day. There are just so many Marines and Marauders being produced on the south side of the map, and they are making their way north. That's all you see on the mini-map. Courage is trying to hang in there with Zerglings and Banelings, but I just don't see this happening. MajOr is being close to maxed out. MajOr is going to be our first North American Terran player. Our first American. Oh no, Widow Mines, don't do that. Don't kill your own soldiers. But I guess he's in a position where he can do that because he's up 110 supply. He's gonna do it, Nate.
He's gonna do it. He's pushing in. Only a couple more Banelings remain for Courage as MajOr remains maxed out. 4th Command Center finishing up 3-3, and GG is called. We have our first North American citizen coming in here to make it to the round of 16 for WCS America.
Yeah, finally for MajOr as well. I think it's really nice, showing as well to just never give up and keep trying. He came so close multiple seasons in a row. 2013 Season 1 wasn't his season, but in Season 2 he came so close after defeating Rion first, and then he lost in the final series by 1 map. Then he defeated Tasia in Season 3, and he still didn't make it. Last season he defeated Tasia again, but he still didn't make it in the long run. This time, however, he did make it, and he played very well against Maxen and even against Paul. I think Game 1 and even Game 2 could have gone a little different. Overall, MajOr played a fantastic day of StarCraft, and it's going to be a lot of fun to have Juanito here in Southern California.
Looking forward to it. MajOr representing Mexico, representing North America, trying to come up here and making his first round of 16 appearance, where many others that qualified last season have all been knocked out already. Really impressed, really excited to see where else he can go from here, because it's not going to get any easier moving on.
No, it's not. Let's just take a look at today's results as the bracket is filled up, completed, and we can see that Paul did what everyone thought Paul would do, and that is make it to the round of 16 for the 5th time in a row. He has not missed a round of 16 yet. That is, of course, super impressive. Amazing consistency by Paul. But for me, Nate, the story of the day is MajOr making it through the round of 16 for the first time in his career.
And he's also prevented our round of 32 prophecy from being fulfilled on the brackets. For all the games that we saw played today, MajOr did fantastic, but you know, we talked about how when we look at all of the groups from WCS America, a lot of the first 4 groups ended up being 1 Premier, 1 non-Premier, and here we go. We're not going to have any patterns on the south side.
No patterns over here, as MajOr is the first one to break that. As you guys can see, our round of 16 is almost complete. We know 14 out of our 16 players, and there is just 1 more group to be played. That is tomorrow, Group H. Looks really exciting. Arthur, Gigoa, Sen, and Soppy. You know, Nate, I believe in Soppy. I think on paper that is an extremely good group for Soppy. I think his ZVZ is excellent. His ZVP, you know, he's been struggling sometimes with it in the past, but Arthur is, you could say, a relatively predictable Protoss player. I think that is a very doable group for Soppy. It's not going to be easy. It never is in WCS America, but I believe.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, if you believe in Soppy and he gets through, if you believe in MajOr, of course, you can always check out the fantasy we've got running on. Only 2 players left to be added to the team, so you can select from tomorrow's group, but you pick 2 players from each region for the round of 16. Predict who's going to make it to the final 8, who's going to win it all. Your scores are based on their real performance, and as we said, if you're the kind of person who likes to brag about numbers, about knowing everything about StarCraft, brag about your global ranking, compete against everybody else, fantasy.eslgaming.com/SC2. And now you can put a North American on your team.
Hell yeah. It was a day to be remembered, Nate, as something different happened over here in WCS America. And of course, we want to thank all of you for reaching out to us via the Twitter universe, #WCS, for all your tweets, even after the show. And once again, this was the first day that we worked with a dedicated observer in this building in WCS America. So let us know what you thought about the show. Let us know if you're like, hey, Rotterdam, no offense, but your observing was pretty bad most of the time. So I really like this dedicated observer that you guys have. Let us know, #WCS, for all your feedback and, of course, for any general comments about the show.
Yeah, I think the Desert did a pretty solid job. I think today's games were pretty awesome. I was really glad to see MajOr go through. You know, as my Terran fanboy, this was a group that I was looking forward to for quite some time. But yeah, we've only got 1 more group to go, Kevin.
Yeah, and that is going to be played tomorrow, of course. Same time, same place, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and midnight for all your European diehards. #StarCraft, so much passion. I know you guys, some of you guys are probably still awake. Even though I'm worried about these StarCraft fans sometimes.
That'd be pretty crazy.
A little too much passion. Passion overwhelming. Then again, it makes it awesome. I think that pretty much does it for us. Like we said, we'll be back tomorrow. I want to thank everyone for watching. And of course, have a lovely Tuesday afternoon / evening. And see you next time.